Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Problem Gambler's Corner. This program is produced by the Alabama Council on Compulsive Gambling, and this is where problem gamblers come over to the corner and to talk about recovery, to talk about the things about gambling addiction that affects each one of us. You know, gambling addiction can happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere. So sit back and relax as we have an opportunity now to talk about gambling addiction and recovery. And that's, unfortunately, that's one of the signs where it starts to become a problem, because now we begin to isolate ourselves. Did anybody know that you were doing this sports betting?
The people in the fraternity.
Okay,
Just
okay.
those.
But the people that were closest to you, your parents,
No.
your family,
No.
they had no idea what was going on.
No.
So when you'd go home on spring break or whenever, were you working over the summer?
I worked over the summer and the Christmas holidays.
Okay. While you were working over the summer and Christmas, were you still sports betting?
No.
Okay, all right. So when you were away from the college atmosphere, it sort of gave you a reprieve from this.
It did. I had no access. I didn't know the bookie.
Right.
It was another fraternity brother that
Mm-hmm.
knew the bookie, so I had no way of.
Making the bet.
Right.
Okay. And it's interesting you bring that up, because just recently we were told that Alabama per capita is a state with the largest number of college betting
Really.
than any other state in the United States. However, because sports betting is illegal, we can't get any bookies to come forward and say, yeah, I'll vouch for that, go ahead, put me in jail, And when you were in college and you were sports betting, did you ever say to yourself, this isn't really legal, but I'm going to keep doing it because I like to make the money?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Everybody knew it wasn't.
Everybody
legal.
knew, yeah. But the outcome was worth.
Right, and it was so small, it was,
Mhm.
they weren't going to bother us.
Exactly. And that's sort of the attitude that people take when they cross state lines and they go bet on the lottery.
Yeah.
They say, well, it's only a few dollars for a ticket, But then all of a sudden they wake up one day and that few dollars, turns into a mountain of money. So, did you ever say in college, I need to quit this?
Absolutely.
I need to stop this. Okay, all right.
And
Why-
I had fraternity brothers that had to drop out of school because of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's where I say, when did it start to become a problem? So for them, it became a problem.
That's right. They had to drop out and go to work to earn more money to
Okay.
either come back or not.
Sure. Did you ever know any students where the gambling so obsessed them that they couldn't even do their schoolwork?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so it's safe to say right now that in the college dorms of Alabama, there are people getting on online, playing poker, playing sports betting, playing online slots, and again, they're up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning gambling instead of studying, and at the same time, they're losing money that they can't afford to lose.
I would guess that's pretty accurate.
Okay, all right. And that's kind of the definition that we use as recovering gamblers, and that is that when we go to gamble, if the money that we're gambling with immediately is money that we can't afford to lose, then we've really got no business gambling, okay? But when we're in action, Ricky, when we're in action, the addiction says, oh, don't worry about that, that's not important. You're going to win it all back and then some, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So you graduated from college, and you met your lovely wife, and your wife's first name is
Debbie.
Debbie. Okay. You have 4 boys?
Right.
Okay, all right. So now, share with us, from the time that you graduated from college, how your gambling continued on.
It actually didn't continue for about 3 years. I had no access to any way to gamble.
Okay,
So then I ran into an old buddy in
Mhm.
town when we moved there,
okay.
and he knew a bookie.
And he knew a bookie, all right? So there was no camaraderie, there was no group of guys when
No.
you got married.
No,
So basically, it was just you and your new bride.
right.
And did she know anything about your gambling through college?
She knew about it in college.
Okay, all right. But obviously, she wasn't concerned about it at all.
No, it was
Okay.
a small amount of money.
Sure, sure. Okay, all right. So all of a sudden, one day, you meet up with an old friend who's a bookie.
But he's not a bookie, he knew a bookie.
I'm sorry, he knows a bookie. Okay. And so, kind of take us on the story then from that point.
Well, he didn't introduce me, I never met the bookie, it was all by
All by
phone.
phone. Okay.
But, he gave me the number and I called him up and got an account number and then I started
Making
gambling
bets.
on sports again.
Okay.
Much larger money.
Oh, absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
As much as $1,000 a game
Oh my.
on a baseball game.
Oh my. And how long ago was this?
This would have been 25 years ago.
Wow. $1,000 on a single game.
At times.
At times. Not everyone.
Not
No.
normally.
No. But that's.
As you bet,
Mm-hmm.
$50 and $100, and then you need to win some back.
Sure. And so the bets increased in the amount.
Exactly.
And that's why it's called an addiction, because that's a sign of tolerance. In other words, it's not any fun anymore, Ricky, sitting there playing $10 on a poker game.
Right.
We'd rather make that $1,000 bet, okay, on that sports event.
And that's
Okay.
when started getting credit cards.
Okay.
And credit cards came
Mm-hmm.
in, and cash advances to cover the losses.
Sure.
And signature loans.
Sure.
Because had an income at that time. As the income went up, the more you qualified for it, the more you could get on these cards.
I got you. And so those credit cards and those signature loans and those payday loans, they became your enablers.
Right.
Okay, because as long as someone is willing to pay, the gambler can play, okay? And again, did your wife, did she know about these credit cards?
Most of the credit cards I used for that, I
Mhm.
kept hidden.
Okay, all right. You know, we say in our addiction, we're only as sick as our secrets.
Right.
So you were able to continue to stay in action, make these sports bets, and your wife had no idea of the money that you were spending
That's right.
or the money that you were using.
Right.
Okay, all right. So, this went on for how long? Ricky?
Continuously until, well, the sports betting went on until the early 90s,
Okay,
and then overlapped with the casino.
okay,
And during this time, we moved 3 times, each time buying and selling a house.
mm-hmm,
And I would take the equity out of the house and pay off the credit cards and
Oh.
the signature loans.
okay, okay,
And then just take out a bigger loan on the next house.
On the next
a
house.
larger percentage of the house.
So the selling of the home became an enabler for you,
Yes,
because it bailed you out of the situation.
right,
You never had to suffer any negative consequences from your gambling. And that's what keeps us in action, okay? It's all those enablers. And yet, let me ask you something, Ricky. How many times would you say, if you did say this to yourself, I gotta quit this,
so
I gotta stop this,
I can't count the number of times.
this is insane, you know?
Right,
Or like the old V8, commercial, wow, I could have had, to slap your forehead and say, what in God's name are you doing? I can't believe I just did that. You know,
that's exactly right.
I can remember when my wife and we sold a house and we bought one in California, okay? And in order to qualify, we had to pay off every debt that we had, okay? And I hadn't really gotten that far into my gambling at that point, okay? But the first warning sign was the fact that one of these companies had sent me something in the mail that said, we'll loan you $25 with just your signature. And man, I was down there to the loan company, and I signed for that money, went out to the casino, you know, and I lost every penny of it, you know. And right there is where the first red flag went up that said, you know what, maybe you got a problem, you know.
Right.
But what happens once we say that to ourselves? Who usually reminds us that they're there to help us out? And that's our addiction.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're buying and selling houses. You're continually playing with the bookies. When you mentioned casinos, was that here in Alabama? Was it
Mississippi.
Mississippi? Okay.
Biloxi.
Biloxi. All right. Okay. For me, I'm from California. It was going to Lost Wages. So, but so again, let me ask you, if I may, when you went to Biloxi, did you go by yourself?
Yes.
Okay. So no one ever knew of your activities.
Right.
By now, your boys are how old?
Well, some of them are not even born.
Okay.
They're
Oh,
young.
okay. All right. All right. Did your wife ever have any idea of where you were spending your time?
I would actually leave work. I had a job that was part office, part field work. So
Okay.
I would leave the job during the day
Mhm.
to go.
And go out there.
Yeah.
As far as your wife knew, you were at work all day, or you were out in the field working.
Right.
Okay, all right. So for that person that puts his golf clubs in the trunk, or says, I'm heading out to be in the field all day making calls, when in reality, we're out there gambling.
Casino.
Okay,
And the bookies and the casino overlapped, and then the bookie got busted. He was in Birmingham.
okay,
And so once he got busted, I never heard from him again.
okay, okay.
And then it just became casino.
It became casino all the way.
And the casino was much bigger than the bookie had ever been.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the opportunities to gamble, okay?
Right.
But here again, Ricky, all the time, you were gambling with money that you didn't have to gamble with in the first place.
Right.
Okay,